Detroit is one decision away from completely changing the franchise's course, and that decision could happen at any moment in the 2026 draft. This isn't an exaggeration, it's not fan excitement, it's reality. The Lions arrive at this draft in a position that for years seemed impossible: competitive, respected, and with a real window open to contend for the playoffs. But those who follow closely know something is still missing. There's still that detail, that piece that separates a good team from a team that truly inspires fear. And that's exactly where Maxx Crosby's name starts to make noise. Because we're not talking about an ordinary player. We're talking about one of the most dominant pass rushers in the NFL, a 5-time Pro Bowler, a guy who single-handedly transforms games, who plays at his limit on every snap, and who simply doesn't accept defeat. Now, imagine that guy lined up on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. That alone changes everything. It's not a one-off reinforcement. It's a change of identity. It's transforming the Lions' defense into something suffocating, aggressive, impossible to ignore. Quarterbacks wouldn't have time. Offensive coordinators would have to redesign entire plans just to survive. And the most interesting thing is that this isn't a distant fantasy. The Lions have 9 draft picks. They have capital. They have a ready-made roster. And they have a general manager who isn't afraid to make big moves. Brad Holmes has already shown that when he sees an opportunity, he doesn't hesitate. He negotiates, he moves up in the draft, he trades picks, he takes a gamble. And now he's facing a decision that could define his era in Detroit. Because bringing in Crosby would be expensive, very expensive. There's no pretending otherwise. It would be high picks, perhaps multiple important assets. It's the kind of move that forces you to give up part of the future. And that's where the question echoing behind the scenes comes in. Is it worth betting on everything now? Is it worth trading security for immediate impact? Except the NFL doesn't wait. Windows close quickly, rosters change, seasons pass. And when you have a team that's ready, with a strong culture, established talent, and a fan base that believes in you, perhaps the biggest mistake is not being aggressive enough. Because championship teams don't wait for the perfect moment. They create the moment. They identify when they're close, and they go all in. And that's exactly what's at stake here. If Brad Holmes decides to go after Maxx Crosby, it won't just be a trade. It will be a message. It will be Detroit telling the rest of the league that the rebuilding is over, that patience is over, that now it's about winning, and winning big. And if that happens, then there's no going back. The Lions cease to be a promise. They become a real threat. And this is where the situation gets even more intense. Because when you start to look coldly at the numbers, you realize that this isn't
just excitement. It's a rare opportunity to create something truly dominant. Maxx Crosby isn't just a big name, he's consistent production. We're talking about a player who, in recent years, has remained among the league leaders in quarterback pressures, frequently exceeding 80 pressures per season. This is absurd. This means impact in practically every game, in almost every defensive series. And even when sacks don't appear, the chaos is there. Rushed passes, broken plays, quarterbacks uncomfortable from start to finish. Now put that alongside Aiden Hutchinson, who is already the heart of this defense and has also been delivering solid numbers. Seasons with more than 10 sacks, constant presence in the backfield, and clear evolution as a leader. If you combine the two, we're not just talking about addition, we're talking about multiplication of impact. A duo like that can easily surpass 20 combined sacks in a season and pressure quarterbacks more than 150 times throughout the year. And in today's NFL, that's gold. Teams that go far in the playoffs almost always have one thing in common: constant pressure without needing to blitz all the time. And that's exactly what Crosby plus Hutchinson would deliver. You free up the rest of the defense, strengthen the secondary, and turn every down into a problem for the opposing offense. But then comes the hard part, the price. Because a player of that caliber doesn't come cheap. We're talking most likely about first-round picks, maybe multiple important picks. It's about giving up part of the future in exchange for immediate impact. It's the kind of decision that defines not just a season, but an entire management team. And that's where Brad Holmes comes in.
He has a history of being aggressive, but also intelligent. He doesn't make impulsive moves. So if he decides to go after Crosby, it's because he believes this team is ready. Ready to stop promising and start delivering. Ready to stop being a surprise and become a reality. And,
to be direct, speaking as a Lions fan, I think this is the moment. We've spent years waiting to have a competitive roster, a strong culture, a solid foundation. Now that all of that exists, does it make sense to hold back? Does it make sense to play it safe? For me, no. I would go for it without thinking twice. Because the difference between a good team and a championship team is often a courageous decision. And Crosby is exactly that kind of decision. He not only improves the team, he changes the franchise's ceiling. If all goes well, Detroit will become one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL. And for the first time in a long time, it wouldn't be a surprise. It would be expected. If you feel that something big is happening in Detroit, that this team can finally become a real protagonist, then you need to be here following every step of it. Subscribe to the channel now because we're going to experience this moment together. Every rumor, every trade, every decision that could change the Lions' future. And don't forget to like the video because that really helps us bring more content like this. The season hasn't even started, and history is already being written.